Unfiltered, the official Sunderland AFC podcast.
Welcome to SAFC Unfiltered, sponsored by Alpha Security. Myself and Danny are up at the Academy once again for the final time in 2022.
Yeah, it's to join the skipper, isn't it? Have a chat about the season so far, how he's enjoying things, and what we're looking forward to for the rest of the season.
Yeah, it's the halfway point of the season as well. How do you think it's gone?
I would say pretty much where we are in the table sums up the season so far. I think we've had obviously good performances. We've held our own in most of the games. Nobody's really blown us away, to be honest.
We've certainly adapted to life in the Championship a lot better than a lot of people thought.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, if you would have said to most fans before the start of the season, as you said there, we came up through the playoffs. A lot of young boys who have just come into the team, haven't played at this level before. Where we're sat, it's a good position to be in, but at the same time, you're perhaps a little bit, not say frustrated, where you're looking, for instance, if we'd have picked up the 3 points Saturday, we're a point outside the playoffs.
It's the injuries as well, you feel frustrated about, don't you?
Yeah, you've got to take that into consideration as well. But yeah, no, I think a good solid 23 games under the belt.
And Corry Evans, captain as well. It's good to get a captain's perspective on things, especially at such a big club like Sunderland. And he's played at this level before, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, he has, yeah. And I think, his performances towards the end of last season and what I've seen so far this season, I think he's been excellent. Does that job, doesn't he, just in front of the back four? I keep saying it puts the fires out, really. When the full-backs are stepping out, he's across, challenges, picks up the ball and gets us going again on the front foot. And I think you're seeing that, the benefits of him playing regular football now. He had one or two injury issues last season, early on in the first half of last season. But no, I think he's been excellent in there. More often than not, obviously alongside Dan Neil. But yeah, no, I've been impressed with him so far.
All right then, let's go and invite him into this room we're in. We're in like a kind of a giant ice cube, it looks like. But anyway, this is where we are at the Academy. Let's get Corry Evans in. So welcome to SAFC Unfiltered. Sunderland captain Corry Evans. Corry, how are you doing?
Very well, thanks for having me.
No problem at all. It feels like we've had you on before. We haven't actually had you on the podcast before. We had you on the gantry a few
times. Yeah, I've been on the
times.
gantry a couple of times.
But we haven't had you on SAFC Unfiltered. So it's good to get you on. And it's perfect time really to get you on because, halfway through the season, smack right bang in the middle of in the league as well. How do you assess things then?
Yeah, well, obviously say, middle table, but we're probably a bit disappointed. We're not higher up, but it is still very tight. It is still very congested. A couple of wins and you'll be right in the mix again. So, but I think we've played every team now. And there's every game. I feel like we've been in every game. So I mean, probably some results along the way we've been frustrated and disappointed with, particularly when we've had the lead. West Brom the other night springs to mind. Burnley. There's probably a couple of others. QPR 2-0 up. Especially at home as well. That's a disappointing thing. So hopefully we can try and rectify that in the second part of the season, and particularly our home form. And hopefully we can end the season well.
And obviously we've been missing Ellis and Ross as well for large periods of the first half of the season. And you do look at the league table and those close results, especially the ones at home, the 0-0s as well against Preston, Blackpool as well. And you think, if only, because it's fine margins in the league, isn't it?
It is. I mean, I think in this league, from experience, the ones that put back-to-back wins and go on and win, 2 or 3 games in a row, that really shoots up the table. And that's something we've been looking to build on. I think we've only done it once, the Birmingham and Millwall game. So I mean, you get a couple of them on the bounce, and you're right up there.
And you've played a lot of games at this level yourself, so you must be well aware of the environment of which we're playing in the Championship. And you touched upon it there. You said that you haven't felt that we've been blown away by anyone over 90 minutes this seain. Are you confident with everyone fit we could really actually compete higher than we are?
Yeah, no, I think so. That you look at the squad. It's getting stronger now with Ross coming back, Daniel Ballard, Edward, Niall Huggins. There's been a lot of players who have been missing throughout the first part of the season. So I think going into the second half, and maybe the club as well will probably look to strengthen as well in January. So there's a lot of positives to take from the first part, but hopefully we can keep improving. And you can't stand still in this league. You need to keep kicking on.
I agree with everything you've said there, Corey. And from our point of view, as we're covering the games on a Saturday and obviously midweek, halfway stage of the season, and I think the frustration, call it frustration if you like, but where we're sat, I know if we'd have picked up 3 points at the weekend against Hull, we'd have been a point off the playoffs. So I think that's what you class as the frustration, really. Yeah. We're not far away from it. I don't feel that any of the teams, we've watched everybody now. Nobody's really blown us away. We have a lot of possession in games. We've created opportunities. And as Frankie said there, that's without your main man up the top end of the pitch, Ross. And Ellis was obviously injured for a lot of that as well. But we've got on with things. We've got match winners in the team. Obviously, Ahmad's been in great form, hasn't he? You've got the likes of Pritchard in there as well. Jack Clark, Patrick coming off the bench. So I think it's there for us, isn't it, really, to kick on and to really put pressure on the teams above us.
It is. I think, just mentioned them players there, the attacking players we've got. We have got a lot of match winners in the squad. They're all capable of producing a bit of magic on their day, and we just have to keep, the team going and get them the opportunities, and we trust them, especially with Ross not coming back. He's been a big miss. He's our talisman, our main player, or top goal scorer of last season. So it's not just his goals, it's his all-round play in general. Everyone knows what Ross is like, and to have him back and obviously coming on at the weekend and scoring, it'll be great for his confidence, and hopefully we can keep him fit and keep the attacking players and everyone in the squad fit for the second part of this season.
Having said that, though, there has been players in the first part of the season who have excelled and came on as professional footballers. Look at Anthony Patterson, you look at Ahmad, and Danny Bart as well, who's having his best spell at Sunderland.
Yeah, I mean, there's been great performances throughout the first part of the season. I think Pato, you mentioned, he's been unbelievable for his age. It's just his calmness, his composure. For a goalkeeper so young, you don't usually see that. So I think he's got a really big future ahead of him, Anthony, and he's great to have there. He's full of, just takes the calmness, and you got full confidence in him when he's in nets. Even just coming for crosses, little things like that. Dan Neal, another one. He's his second season in first team football. I think he's took to the championship really well too.
And of course, playing alongside yourself as well. I imagine he's learning a lot from you.
Yeah, no, I just try and keep Dan right with little things throughout games. But he's a really talented player, Dan. And another one who's going to have a really bright future in the game.
He's quite mature for his age, isn't he? We've spoke to Dan on the podcast, haven't we, a couple of times. In was he early 20s? He's 21, 22, Dan, I think. Obviously playing week in, week out alongside yourself in there. But off the pitch, is he quite a mature lad as well? You can see he wants to learn, he wants to take things on board.
Yeah. No, yeah. I'm laughing at that one there because he's not all there at times,
So he's putting on a bit of a front when he comes to speak to us.
Yeah, he's acting a bit there, but no, he is. He's got his head screwed on. He's got a good family behind him, Dan, and but I think even he would admit, if there was a quiz to say who's the least intelligent, he'd probably be up there in the squad.
Really? That's interesting.
He does say academically he's quite bright, but
general stuff.
He did say the other day, he said, academically I'm quite smart, but real world stuff I'm not. So that sums it up.
Himself up there, okay.
We've touched upon Ahmad, and he's probably been the star of the season so far for Sunderland, with people being out injured and others. But just how good is he? He was bought for a high price tag for Manchester United, your former club, of course, as well. What have they seen in him, and what can you see on a daily basis? Why is he so good?
I think we've seen it in training when he first came. He had sort of this natural ability, but obviously he was coming off the bench, and maybe he was just getting used to the league or whatever at the start of the season. And there was times, I remember a couple of times where he threw on goal, and we were saying shoot, and he was trying to maybe walk things in the net. But I think he's learning. He's still young. But it's undoubted his ability. The price tag he has probably added that bit of pressure to himself. But he's taking it all in, and you can see he's a level-headed boy as well. He's he's just down to earth, normal fella, and works hard every day in training. And he's getting his rewards at the minute. He's playing really well, and he's been probably our go-to man the last little run of games we've had. Birmingham away, the goal was unbelievable, but we see him do that every day in training, so it's no surprise to us.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say, sometimes you get those players, we call them a five-a-side player, don't you, where they do it in training. I've played with a few here in my time where they do it on that. And
you can name names if you want, Danny.
We won't, though. So you get to a Saturday afternoon, and then all of a sudden they go missing, and they want to try too much on the ball. But I think, and I've said it before, haven't I, when we've done the comms, what I liked about when we're perhaps not having a good spell in the game, he goes looking for the ball and he puts a shift in, he works back. And sometimes you don't get them from them wide players. They go missing, stand out on the touchline, and they don't get the ball for 10, 15 minutes. You forget they're on the pitch. But I think that's what's impressed me as well for such a young lad, almost taking a game by the scruff of the neck. And you've mentioned it there, some of the goals he scored in recent weeks, a couple of assists as well, playing a massive part in the success we're having.
Yeah, he is. And I think maybe when he came, he was sort of seen as the down the middle, sort of the something different to Ross and Ellis.
Play more of a 10 really
yeah,
as well.
And I think he sort of found his place out in the right a wee bit now. He's coming inside, gets a bit more time in that, and he can sort of drift from there. I think it suits him really well in that position.
Because in a way he's come in and took Patrick's position. Similar players, aren't they? Like to come off that right hand side, dribble through the pitch on their left foot, and I guess Patrick's been a little bit frustrated. Come on at the weekend, obviously played a part in the goal, but it's competition for places, and at this moment in time, it's hard to take the shirt off Ahmad, isn't it? For Patrick?
That's it. I mean, Pat was probably our best player in a lot of games there at the start of the season. The
Reading away, wasn't it?
Yeah, Reading away. The 2 goals there, and even just he's another one every day in training. He's a nightmare to play against. He's sticking it through your legs and running around, and you think you've got it, and he's chopping it back, and he's one of the players you don't want to face. So as you mentioned, it's competition for places in the squad now, and that's what you need to have a good season in any league, really.
Well, speaking of Patrick Roberts, he might get an opportunity because sadly it looks like Elliot Embleton's going to be out for a spell on the sideline. Someone as well, you played with the Grimsby, Elliot, and everyone here at Sunderland Football Club wish him well. But it could make an opportunity for someone like Patrick to get back in the side. And especially with Alex Pritchard as well. I
have to say, I'm got it for Embo. He's finally got his chance the last couple of games, or he's starting a couple of games on the bounce. But that's football, and I wish him a speedy recovery as we all do here from the team. But you mentioned them players. Alex Pritchard's out for a couple of weeks here. So there is places up for grab. Potentially Danny Bath maybe as well. He came off the weekend, so we don't know how bad his injury is at the minute. So but we have Ross, as you mentioned, coming back. Ballard came in, done really well, thought, in the game.
He was involved in everything, wasn't he? Quite literally.
Yeah, literally. And he's even cramping up at the end. But
that one first half as well, where it rocked him, didn't it?
That's right. Down. Yeah. So I don't even think he was expecting to come on that early, but I thought he'd done really well for his first game back. And as you say, you've got all these players. Even competition now. You've got Adji and Dennis, fullback areas, and there's competition throughout the team. Yeah,
I said that as well, didn't we? Looking at the lads who weren't involved at the weekend, obviously Matete, Diaku, there was a few there who perhaps didn't even make the squad, so good competition for places. And unfortunately, at the same time as well, sometimes you're getting lads back from the treatment room, as you said. Ross is back out there, Dan Ballard's coming back out, and then you look like you're losing a couple as well. It's strange how it works.
Always the way,
I said
isn't
that, didn't I? Yeah. Sometimes the treatment room's empty, and then all of a sudden 4 or 5 bodies in there. And fans sometimes look at it and say, well, what are they doing in training? It's just how it goes, isn't it?
Yeah, that's always the way, and just seems to be how it is in football. You've got a clean bill of health, clean squad, and then before you know it, you've got 2 or 3.
Pete Brown's on overtime.
Yeah, well, it'll be now, yeah. Especially over this Christmas period, all these fixtures coming up. So hopefully we can get everyone through these games, unscathed and fit.
Just looking at, just going back to obviously Elliot's red card at the weekend. We've had a couple of look at it. I thought it was a strong yellow. I think from one angle it looks, you probably had a good view of it. I'm not sure. What did you make of it?
I thought it was really harsh.
Yeah. Looked worse than what it was, perhaps, you think?
I didn't think it looked bad at the time. I didn't think it was a bouncing ball, and they're both sort of
they're both out of control, really, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of them ones I was trying to say to the ref.
The referee made his mind up instantly, though, didn't he?
He had it out.
I don't
think he had it
fair,
out really quick. As soon as I seen that, I couldn't believe it. And I was over to him. I was just like, it's a bit rash, the decision. I think you've got it straight out. Take a bit of time to think about it. And he sort of put it away, and then I thought...
Yeah, he did, because he was waiting everyone just to calm down.
That way you're in his ear trying to work on him and say, listen, it's a loose ball. They've both gone in for it.
I think it's slightly hard. Whoever gets there first, obviously, comes off the worst, but obviously not in the case of Embo. He's fractured his ankle or leg. So, I mean, I thought it was really harsh, and it was a real turning point in the game, because I think if we had 11 men... with the subs and that we had coming on, I think we would have probably went on to win the game. It's probably a decent point in the end to come away from home with 10 men, and we just got put it in the bag and move on.
Yeah, absolutely. We've had this period of time where you went off to Dubai for some warm weather training. That's because the World Cup's been on as well. Did you get a chance to take in the games? Obviously, Bailey and Dewey getting some game time as well. And then we had that wonderful final as well on Sunday. It was
brilliant. Yeah,
one of the best games of football I've ever seen.
I've really enjoyed this World Cup. I've enjoyed watching it with my kids, because I remember my first World Cup was France '98. And that was me sort of growing up. I would have been 8 years old at the time, so
I feel old now.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm sending my kids. This is probably my daughter's 9 and my son's 6. And they're both really into football. So I was like, you're witnessing one of the best World Cups ever here. You're lucky with the final at the weekend. It was great to watch.
And the Messi story as well.
Yeah, no, Messi. I'm obviously buzzing for Messi. I think he's probably had a hard time with Argentinian fans a lot, and they over the past lot of years, the comparison to Maradona. So I think they finally get that now. Just sort of cements his status as the best ever.
And what about yourself, international wise? You got Michael O'Neill's heading back. Is that true?
Yeah, he's back now. So we've got games coming up in March for qualifying for the Euros.
Do you feel like there's a real chance?
I think if you look at the group, we've got Denmark, who's the top seed. So they're still a really good team, some really good players. But I think usually in the past we've had teams like Germany, Italy, Portugal. We've always had a big nation to come up against. But with obviously Denmark and Finland, I think are the 2 top seeds ahead of us. There's a real chance there, and I think
not great World Cup Denmark.
No,
really,
that's true.
Fell short.
And looking at that, I think with the squad that we have and Michael coming back, I think it's all to play for.
No, I was going to obviously bring it back to his time when he joined Sunderland. I know we've jumped back into a little bit here with the World Cup mentioned there as well. But when you signed, you come in from Blackburn. You'd had a couple of your last seasons there. You'd had 1 or 2 injury issues. Then you joined Sunderland, and I think in the first half of last season you missed a dozen games or so, picking up 1 or 2 injuries.
Yeah.
But then after there, just looking at the stats earlier, I think you played the last 19 games, and then part of what was a great run, wasn't it, what we needed just to get to the playoffs itself?
Yeah.
Do you then obviously feel at your fittest when you come back? And it's obviously no secret again, is it, when you're playing games of football, when you're getting the 90 minutes under your belt, that's when you're getting that fitness up? And
yeah, that's it. This is probably the fittest I've felt in my career for a long time. But I think it just comes with playing 90 minutes every week, as you say, and the confidence in your body that you go out, you can do it consistently, game on game. Whereas when you're sort of picking up little niggles and you're getting maybe 30 minutes here or 60 here, and you're sort of chasing everything, your body doesn't have enough time to recover, and you start picking up more niggles, and it's just a vicious circle you get into where it's frustrating both for yourself as a player, but just like as probably the manager as well. And in the past maybe managers have been like, I can't put him in because he might get injured again, and that's just sort of how it goes. And but I've been fortunate enough to play around 90 minutes last season, and I've just sort of continued that throughout this season.
Yeah, and then obviously at the end of last season as well, what was that feeling like at Wembley?
Oh,
nearly 50,000 Sunderland fans there lifting the trophy.
Unbelievable. It's probably a day I'll never forget. To do it at Wembley, it's probably the best way to win any promotion.
Probably not for the fans, it's a bit stressful.
Yeah, no, I think
your nails gone.
That's it. I mean,
especially at Sunderland Football Club as well. So many finals.
Yeah, no, but I think the whole day, the occasion itself, it was my first time playing at Wembley. Having all my family there, and then as you mentioned, the fans, the 50,000. It was unbelievable.
Was Johnny down there?
Yeah, he
well?
did. Yeah, he came.
You played with Johnny here?
Yeah, played with Johnny.
Yeah, you played with him, didn't you?
Yeah.
He was down. He came, and then he shot off. He shot off after because I think he was in. I think he had a game the next day, if I can think back. But yeah, no, it was great. I had everyone there, all my family and my kids and that. So it was a special day, wasn't it?
Yeah, a real special day.
When you joined the club again, did you speak to Johnny? Obviously, Johnny had a season or 2 here, didn't he? And we got promoted back then. I think it was 2005-06, wasn't it? I think. Did you speak to Johnny about the club before you come up here? What's it like, Johnny? And did he give you?
Well, I already knew Johnny loved his time up here.
Yeah.
The fans loved him as well.
Yeah, no, he had 2 loan spells. I remember the first game I went to watch him was in the Championship. He was away to Preston. You might have played in that one.
Yeah. Probably alongside him at fullback.
Yeah, probably. And then I think the next game was the following year in the Premier League against Chelsea at home. But I know he had a great time up here, and it was massive for his career, his development. Playing for a big club and then going back to Man United, it's quite similar in terms of the fan base and everything that comes with the pressures of playing for the club. So I think he really valued his time here, and going back, I did obviously speak to him briefly before I was signing, and he was just like, "Oh, you've got to go." Once you get up there and you realise the size and everything, it's just it's something different.
I guess in English football, there's only around about 8 or 9, 10 clubs who can say they've got the fan base on a regular basis. The size of Sunderland Football Club, it has to be a draw within football, is it?
Oh yeah, massive. Playing against old teammates from other clubs that have come to the Stadium of Light when we played. They can't get over the size, and they're like, "Oh, it must be unbelievable playing here every week." And it is something special, and you walk out and the fans. I think last season the playoff first leg against Sheffield Wednesday was unreal.
Yeah,
I mean, it was like
bouncing, wasn't
that
it?
That was brilliant. That was a really good an atmosphere that night, and probably my first game as well. Walking out as captain at home to Wigan at the start of last season. That's when you first really take it in. You can't really describe it until you're involved and you see it.
So the fans definitely make a difference to the players on the pitch then when they're behind
yeah,
it.
massive. I think we're all looking forward to this Boxing Day game, because usually Boxing Day means there's a big turnout of number of fans.
40,000 plus, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah, is that what
easy.
we're talking?
So.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
we'll be over 40,000.
That's incredible. I mean,
and Blackburn will play their part as well, your former club.
Yeah, no, I'm sure they'll travel in their numbers too. And it'll probably make for a really good game.
They're a good side, aren't they? I thought we were really unlucky when we played them earlier this season. Both their goals,
Decisions
against us.
I think when you look back at the first goal,
penalty on Jack,
and then they go down the other end, and Ben Burton sticks one in the top corner of his weak foot, and you're like,
and then start the second half, free kick comes in.
Yeah,
when's your linesman?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, so but they've had a good start to this season, a good first half, and the good result the other day against Norwich away. I still speak to a couple of their lads. I'm really close friends with Bradley Dack, and he's looking forward to coming and to playing at the Stadium of Light. He's never been, so I mean. It's going to be a good game, I think, on Boxing Day.
Yeah, everyone's looking forward to it. It's always a big fixture around Christmas time. We're going to talk about, maybe not negative, but there's an issue starting to be underlined by not just ourselves, but people in the media and fans, and that's our failure to convert from corners. I don't know if you know about this. We're over 100 now.
Is that the number?
101, I think.
101.
Yeah, 101 corners, no goals from
I guess
corners.
you're practicing them.
We do them every day before a game. I don't know what it's been. Are we the lowest in the league? We haven't scored from one yet.
Set play was the first goal, wasn't it? The penalty.
Last week,
yeah.
We didn't have a penalty until that one either.
Is it?
Yeah. So obviously no corners, wide free kicks.
I'll tell you what, if we start scoring from corners, then we'll be flying of set pieces, because usually that's the hardest things from open play, I think, and but it does add massive bit of something to your game if you can start converting from set pieces, because they can win or lose you games, as we've seen. So
get some tall lads back, like Daniel Ballard and Ross.
Ross coming back, Ellis.
Obviously, Danny Ballard's had a couple recently, and he just glanced one last week.
No, it's not through lack of trying or working on them, but
there's only so much you can do, isn't there? We got asked after the game, didn't we? And someone said about the set plays, what are they doing in set play situations? And I said, well, corners, you can either have in swingers, out swingers, try some short corners. Well, it just doesn't work sometimes.
We have been trying some short corners recently and stuff, just trying to move the opposition defence about a bit, change the angle and different things. But I'm sure one will drop soon.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll come. Talking about things dropping,
I'm still waiting.
We're still waiting for one of your rakers from outside the box.
So am I.
He's got 5 on it, haven't you?
Yeah.
Do you want to do your quiz now?
Should we get into it?
Yeah, might as well then. Yeah.
Let's have a look. Yeah, just said he likes quizzes as well. So
I was doing loads of quizzes during lockdown, COVID, over Zoom.
And that's where he got his penchant for quizzes.
On the buses as well.
On the buses,
we used to have obviously staff table, defenders, midfielders, attackers on away trips, and I was the nerd with a microphone doing the quizzes on the bus. Right, okay, mate. So mixed bag on these, mainly football. A Christmas one thrown in there as well. But the first one is about your career. And who did you score your first Sunderland goal against on the 5th of February 2022? Was it Cheltenham, was it Morecambe, or was it Doncaster Rovers?
Doncaster.
What was the score that day?
We got beat 2-1, didn't we?
We did.
That was
in between managers.
Jermaine Defoe's return that day, wasn't it?
Yeah, big crowd.
Yeah, big crowd.
It didn't go to plan.
No. Bittersweet, you would say, would you?
Good start though, Corey.
Good start, yeah. Right, okay, we're on to the World Cup now. And Enner Valencia scored the opening goal of the World Cup for Ecuador.
Yeah.
But what was unique about this goal? Can you remember it?
I actually missed this game.
It's not a good start.
Right, what was unique about it?
What was the score? Was it 3-0 Qatar?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, he got a couple, didn't he?
Yeah.
He scored 2, didn't
Yeah,
he, in
one
that game?
choked off, didn't he?
Yeah.
For offside early on, but then he scored just after. But something that was unique about the goal.
I've got no idea.
Has he scored like so many goals in a row or something for?
You're right. I think he scored 6 consecutive games.
Games.
Yeah,
that's not it.
That's not it. No.
Okay, no.
Did you get a bonus point for that?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't know. Then I wouldn't know the answer.
Not going to chuck in. No.
No.
Well, by set plays really. It's the first goal that's been scored. The opening goal of a World Cup tournament from the penalty spot.
Is it?
The first penalty, yeah.
Wow.
That's been scored.
Wow.
To open the tournament.
It's a good one, that.
Yeah.
It's a bit too hard, I think.
Well, we've got the blocks one with this first one. Okay, question number 3. Off to his country now, Northern Ireland. And I need all 4 of the... Only 4 players have reached 100 caps for Northern Ireland. Who are they? I need all 4 for the point.
Right. So, Johnny's one.
Johnny is.
Stephen Davis.
Yes.
Aaron Hughes.
Yes.
Pat Jennings.
Yes.
He's done it.
He's nailed him.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
He's
Stephen
doing
Davis,
good there.
any idea how many he's on? Top of the pile?
138.
140.
I'm 40 now, is
140.
he?
Johnny
Wow.
100, yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Johnny's 100.
Well done.
What'd you get if you get 100? Do you get some kind of medal or something?
Johnny's was last trip there, Greece away. I'm trying to remember if he did get. To be honest, I think he just got a shirt with like 100 on it. Like,
I mean, it's some achievement
A
though.
golden cap.
A golden
yeah,
cap.
I'm not sure. We usually get sent the caps out.
Do you get a cap?
Later.
You don't get a cap for each game, do you? Do you get
No, you used to.
Yeah,
You used to
isn't
years
it?
ago,
Yeah.
but now it's like the
05, 06 or
campaign.
something,
Yeah,
yeah.
05, 06, and then the game's written on the cap.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I think it's only England really that dish them out per game.
Is there?
I think so.
There we go.
Yeah.
Right, so you're on 2 out of 3, is he?
Yes, 2 out of 3, yeah. So we're moving on to Christmas films.
Right, okay.
Home Alone. How old is Kevin in the movie Home Alone?
How old's Kevin in the
How old's
movie?
Kevin in the movie in Home Alone?
That's a tough one. That his age.
Remember when I think it's when he's buying that toothbrush or he's shopping, he says it, doesn't he? Do you remember?
I was watching this the other day.
11.
He's quite short then for 11.
8.
He's 8.
8
What?
years old. 8.
8?
Yeah, he's 8 years old. Yeah.
Wow. That's a good question though. 8.
Yeah.
There we go. Favorite Christmas movie?
Got one?
I do like Home Alone. Probably the second one, New York.
Yeah,
Because then I think every time you see New York on TV, you just think, like at Christmas time particularly, you just think of Home Alone. You know, it's
Yeah.
something special about it, isn't there?
I'm going to check when he gets in now.
Have you got a favorite Christmas movie, Danny?
I like the Home Alone ones. I'd have to go for them, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
But then they started getting daft when they changed.
Oh, Home Alone 3 got a bit-
right off, weren't they?
Yeah,
It's
bad.
once Kevin McCall.
There was one out last year as well. It's on Disney Plus. I don't know if you've seen it.
Oh, is
it?
It's
No.
got no.
Nah.
Don't do it.
Milking it, aren't
I
they?
do like Elf and all as well,
Elf,
though.
yeah.
Elf's
last
good.
night in our house, actually.
Elf's good.
Yeah.
Kids had that on last night, yeah. Okay, last one. Number 5. Who has made more appearances for Sunderland teammates one? Anthony Patterson or Dennis Sirkin?
Ooh, it was a milestone for Pato.
I seen something the other day. It was Pato 50 starts or 50 appearances the other day. You're not giving me anything, no?
I'll give you a clue. There's 7 between the two of them. 7 appearances between the two of them.
Okay, well, I know Dennis did play a lot of games last season because
Pato only came in halfway through last season.
Yeah.
He was still at Notts County this time last season, wasn't he?
Every game this year as well, I think.
Yeah.
I can't give any clues. It's 50-50.
I'll go Dennis.
Dennis has made 58 appearances, and Pato is now on 51 appearances.
There we go.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well done. Well,
What they get, 3 out of 5?
3 out of 5.
Not
Steady.
bad, is it?
Yeah, steady.
That's good. That's
Puts you
good.
in the- I think puts you with Luke 09. Wasn't it? Luke was in there, I think.
League got about 3, I think. Yeah, we'll have to go back through the records to see where everyone else fared. But well done. You came
mate.
through the
Good
quiz
effort.
there unscathed. All right, then, as we move into the second half of the season, good morale in the dressing room still, everyone pulling in the right direction, and, what could we achieve?
Yeah, no, I think what can we achieve? I think we can make a real push. I think, as we've discussed, there's not really teams in the league that have outplayed us, or we've always been in games. So I think that we can take confidence from that. There's been a lot of players who haven't played championship football, so they've had a taste of it now. They know what it's all about. So I think we can get everyone fit. You see the ability in the squad, the attacking players we've got. The match winners. I think if we can put a little run together, we can get up in amongst the mix of the playoffs. That's the aim anyway,
Yeah, absolutely. And as captain, have you got a message for the Sunderland fans out there heading towards Christmas and New Year?
Yeah, just want to wish everyone a happy Christmas, happy New Year, and thank you for your support throughout this first part of the season. Obviously the home form has been not as good as we had liked, but we're working every day as hard as we can to try and take everything and leave everything on the pitch. So I mean, stick with us and enjoy the second part.
Corry Evans speaking to us here on SAFC Unfiltered. He's a lovely guy. He always speaks around the stadium on a match day as well. He's joined us on the gantry a few times, as we mentioned. But it's great to have a catch up with Corry, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought he spoke excellent there. I think pretty much covered what we came in to chat about, didn't he? Obviously his time joining the club, how it went last season, and how we're getting on so far this season. He had the similar views to I think what a lot of the fans are seeing so far this season. Perhaps a little bit frustration there, which is good. Yeah, he's the captain. He wants to drive us forward, and he knows there's a little bit more in the squad. Frustration as well that the fact that we touched on it, lads coming out of the treatment room, a couple more unfortunately going the other way. But no, I think he's played his part this season, and he's the one driving us forward, along with the likes of Danny Barth and one or two of the other senior boys in the team.
Yeah, he's very calm, measured character, isn't he? I think that's what you want in the captain.
It is different characters, In my time at the club, Dean Whitehead wasn't a shouter, didn't rant and rave at people, just went about his business, more so with the performances. I was a quiet word in the change rooms, maybe at half time before the game, just getting around the younger boys, and I think Corry looks a similar type of character.
Yeah, and he really likes playing for Sunderland. You can tell, you have him come and visit his brother Johnny playing alongside you at the Stadium of Light, and now he finds himself as the captain as well.
Yeah, he said that there, didn't he? I think, speaking to Johnny about his time at the club, Johnny, a young lad learning his trade, coming up here a fair few years back now. But yeah, he's just mentioned it. He speaks to other teammates who he's played with when they come up to the Stadium of Light, and we see it before the game. There's some lads, especially at League One level, almost in awe of coming up to the stadium, taking photos, filming the stadium, and that can obviously go one or two ways. Sometimes they get lost in the sort of surroundings really, or they can turn up and think, do you know what, I might not get the opportunity to come and play at a stadium like this again, so they put in a little bit more. But no, I think Corry, you can tell, I think he's enjoying his time up at Sunderland.
Now, as it's our last SAFC Unfiltered of 2022, we'd like to thank you all for listening to SAFC Unfiltered over the course of the previous calendar year. We will be back in 2023, hopefully with other members of the squad, management system, people around the club. That's what we like to speak to here on SAFC Unfiltered. Thank you so much for subscribing. If you don't subscribe, go and do it right now. You can do so on all major podcast platforms. Thank you very much for listening. Have a good Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Yeah, all the best. Have a good Christmas. Stay safe, and we'll see you in the new year.